Om Namah Shivaya. Asinist fire here on the way of Dharma. Now I want to check with something before we continue. Alright, let us go. Today's topic is about Mudras and Bandhas. Okay, if you are new over here, please make sure that you subscribe. And if you are a returning subscriber, Om Namah Shivaya, Asinist fire. I wish you peace, I wish you bliss, I wish you an enlightening experience as we talk about the bandhas and mudras. What are bandhas? The word bandha is a Sanskritam word that means to bind, bandha. So what are mudras? The word mudra means that it's an attitude, a gesture of some sort. But the word literally means attitude. That's what the word mudra means. On a very, very basic, low, or surface, not surface. Okay, yes, on the front surface of the occult scene, you may have heard of the word mudra. It simply means that hand gestures on the surface level. There's many different kinds of mudras for many different kinds of purposes. Now, we just said that a mudra is an attitude, you understand? A symbol of some sort to say that you are doing something, basically. I hope you understand. Okay, let us continue. The first basic mudra we will talk about is that of jnana mudra or jnana mudra, that of attaining knowledge. You may have seen statues or pictures of Devis and Devatas using this mudra. Before I went into occultism, long way back, I used to think that this mudra was actually that of the 666, and I was wrong. This is actually a mudra of jnana, knowledge, to attain knowledge, to dispel anxiety, and to experience peace of mind and connection when you are meditating, basically. Om Namah Shivaya. The second mudra is this one, Apana mudra. You might think it's a rock band mudra or a cool hip-hop side mudra. This is not so. This mudra consists of these two middle fingers, the ring finger and the middle finger, and the thumb. What exactly does it do? It manipulates energy to move in a certain way. Remember, we spoke about apana. Apana, the downward pulling force, meaning gravity. So this apana mudra makes sure that your excretion, your downward pulling forces are in alignment. When you do this for a certain time, if you're constipated, it will be enough to relieve your constipation. You can also do this during pranayama when you are dealing with the downward pulling force. Om Namah Shivaya, do you understand? And then this one is called prana apana. It's consisted of this and this. You are doing what? You're combining prana and apana. Prana is what? Is the vital living force behind existence on its own, on its entirety, basically. So when you're the easiest way to obtain prana or this life force is through breath, pranayama, a regulation of breath. So when you want to deal with prana, the life force, and the downward pulling force, which is that of gravity, prana apana is the mudra for that. Now, those are the mudras I would like to cover with you on a basic surface level. But as you know, this channel, Way of Dharma, we deal with deeper concepts in the Vedic culture of Dharma, Sanatana Dharma, to be specific. Now, I'm sitting in a posture now. It is called Vajrasana. Vajrasana is a posture whereby you sit like you are kneeling, and then you combine your legs, and then you make sure that your heels are on top of your butt is on top of your heels, basically. So yes, all the mudras, the bandhas, I will show you during this asana, this posture. Om Namah Shivaya. Let us continue. Now, the first bandha is that of, I forgot what it's called. I think it's called Nauli Bandha, or what is it called? No, not Nauli Bandha. Uddiyana Bandha. What is Uddiyana Bandha? It's a bind of prana, binding it in a certain specific chakra or point in your body, basically. It is consisted of what? It consists of exhaling and retaining the air in the prana in a specific part of your body. In this case, it would be your solar plexus area, your area of power, Manipuraka chakra. Now let me show you how you do Uddiyana Bandha, and I will talk of the benefits of Uddiyana Bandha. First, you exhale. You inhale first, and then you exhale. That's how you do Uddiyana Bandha. When you exhale, you make sure that you pull in your intestines, you pull them inwards, and then you retain that lock, bind, bandha, a lock, interlock, basically. You lock energy or prana in the specific or particular chakra. I like particular and specific. So specificular, yeah man. Let's continue. So you retain it over here. And then what are the benefits of it? Remember, I told you that the organs weren't in place due to what? Improper breathing. You find that the lungs of the fat man, they are over here. The heart is pushing down. The chest begins to contract. The lungs begin to become contracted, and they contract many diseases. Okay? So now the organs are no more in place. To retain the organs in place, Uddiyana Bandha would be there to remedy the situation. Also what? To keep and retain prana in that particular area of Manipuraka chakra. You understand? So yes, those are the benefits. Not to mention the benefits of massaging your intestines and massaging that chakra, because here, this chakra over here, it has the same what do you call it? The gray matter on the brain. You also have it here. Hence, it is referred to as the real brain, basically. It's where all the energy comes from, basically. It's a very, very powerful area, a very powerful chakra. So you massage that and you manipulate energy in a certain way, basically. And then we come back to another bandha. Another bandha is that of the Mula Bandha. Mula Bandha, what do you do? At the perineum, okay, the point in between your genital organs and your anus, basically, the perineum, you contract those muscles, you pull them in, and then you retain that lock. Let me show you. Of course, you will not see my perineum, but let me show you. Sometimes you can stimulate that area to make sure that you awaken Kundalini. The purpose for this bandha is to awaken Kundalini, basically, to arouse Kundalini fire, because Kundalini resides in that area and it's sleeping in that area. So as you you ignite the flames of Kundalini, making sure that you manipulate it upwards the spine. You can also use it to retain the energy when it's trying to escape through apana, through the downward pulling force. That's how you can use Mula Bandha. And then it activates so many other nadis around that area of the perineum. Now, yes, that's all we'll be discussing about Mula Bandha. Now we go to the third and one of the important bandhas is Jalandhara Bandha. Jalandhara Bandha. Jalandhara Bandha. Yes. The interlock of the throat, basically. This is how you do it. You understand? So you lock this area, making sure that air or prana doesn't escape through that area. And then, yes, you make sure that it doesn't escape through that area. Basically, you also activate your, what do you call it, the thyroid. You understand, the thyroid gland and the throat chakra in general, basically. So that's what you would be doing when you activating or doing Jalandhara Bandha. Then we have the Maha Bandha. It's when you combine all the bandhas together. You understand? So I'd like to show you how you do it. You understand? So in my case, I like to exhale first and then I retain. You can also do this during the inhalation kumbhaka, basically. What exactly are you doing with the Mahabandha? You are inhaling and retaining the breath and taking the prana inside the breath to take it inside, and then you make sure that you push it upwards into Sushumna Nadi. There's three basic nadis basically. The Pingala, the Ida, and the Sushumna. The main one, the middle one, the one inside the spine, the subtle one is Sushumna. If you want to raise Kundalini up the spine, it has to go through Sushumna. So when you do Mahabandha, you are restricting prana from moving out in those different areas, basically in those main nadis. You restrict it from moving upwards into the nose and then getting out that way. You restrict it from moving downwards to Apana, and then you restrict it in the Mula Bandha area. Okay, no, that here you squeeze it basically to make sure that you push it in Sushumna, and then in the Mula Bandha you restrict it to make sure that it doesn't go under with the downward pulling force. Om Namah Shivaya. Let's go into it. Now let's talk about the mudras. Now for the mudras, I won't be demonstrating any mudras, but I will discuss the mudras basically. The ones we do in Hatha Yoga, Pradipika. So yes, let me sit in Siddhasana. I hope I can sit in Siddhasana. The floor is rough. It's like a rumba. Booma! So let's talk about the mudras. We have Maha Mudra, the great gesture. Why is it called the great gesture? It does exactly what the Maha Bandha does, basically. You interlock all three areas to make sure that you push prana in a certain way. Okay? What do we do? It consists of the other leg going outward, and then the other leg you sitting on it, and then you sitting on mula, on the perineum. You make sure your heel is on top of the perineum, basically. You understand? When I did Maha Mudra is when I actually discovered that I could be able to do Siddhasana and actually put my leg on top of my thigh. That's when the circulation of prana began to influence my flexibility, basically. So it consists of those three actions, and then you do what, as in Paschimottanasana or Paschimottanasana, the one of sitting like this and then pulling your both legs and then putting your forehead on your knees. It consists of doing that, but with one leg out and one leg in your heel in your mula area, in your perineum. So you do that, you understand? So what does it do? It forces you to lock your perineum area, and then you also do the Uddiyana Bandha. You lock your solar plexus area, and then you lock your throat, and then you go down there, forcing. Let me do this. Forcing prana to move upwards, basically. You're forcing prana to move upwards into Sushumna. You understand? And then after Sushumna, it can then be risen into Sahasrara chakra. But it's a process, basically. So remember, mudra means attitude. It's an attitude you do to achieve a certain end. You understand? There's other mudras that I forget, but the main one that I like doing is Maha Mudra. It has so many benefits. One of which is getting siddhis, of course. Another is activating Kundalini, and many more that I won't be mentioning, of course. I hope you've learned something about bandhas. Bandha means bind, and lock, to lock, basically, to bind, to lock. That's why you hear in some mantras, bandha, bandha. You understand? You bind, bandha, bandha, gaha, gaha, vama, vama. You understand? Bandha, bandha. That's what it is, basically. So with that being said, I'd like to conclude this video lesson of mudras and bandhas in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika series. Shout out. The next one, I'll be talking of asanas. I think more in depth, you understand, and showing some asanas that I have in my arsenal, basically. So this is Asanist Fire here on the Way of Dharma. Make sure that you do subscribe. Make sure that you share this information and knowledge to whoever who might need it, or whoever you think might need. Om Namah Shivaya. Let us close this session with expelling and dispelling of enemies with the powerful mantra of Bagalamukhi mantra. Basically, this one says that Bagalamukhi should help us destroy our enemies. Om Hlim Bagalamukhi Sarvadushtanam Vacham Mukham Padam Stambhaya Jibham Kilaya Buddhim Vinashaya Hrim Om Swaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Asanist Fire here on the Way of Dharma.